Welcome back to VL Podcasts. Today we're talking about one of the most fascinating stories in the world of tech. The story of Alexandr Wang, the CEO and co-founder of Scale AI, a 25-year-old tech prodigy who turned the seemingly boring task of labeling data into an indispensable multi-billion-dollar business. Alexandr Wang's journey from MIT dropout to self-made billionaire is nothing short of remarkable. And Scale AI has become a powerhouse in the world of AI and machine learning. Bear with me, but before our hosts get into the actual podcast with our host, I want to give you a brief backstory about Alex Wang so that you know a little bit about this wonder kid and how he built this huge empire at early age. Back in 2018, Alexandr Wang made headlines when he was featured on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list in enterprise technology. At the time, his company Scale AI was already making waves, helping companies like GM Cruise, Alphabet, and Uber automate tasks like image recognition and audio transcription. But fast forward to today, Wang has taken Scale to a whole new level. He's now the youngest self-made billionaire with a whopping net worth of $1 billion. Thanks to Scale AI's sky-high valuation of $7.3 billion. And get this, while Scale still partners with big-name companies, it's the $350 million in defense contracts that really set them apart. These deals have catapulted Scale to the forefront of analyzing satellite images, determining damage in conflict zones like Ukraine, and even assisting the U.S. military. Wang grew up in Los Alamos, New Mexico, the same town where his parents, both physicists, worked at the National Lab. You could say that science was in his blood. As a high schooler, Wang was already making a name for himself, excelling in math, physics, and coding competitions. This led him to MIT in 2015, where he earned perfect grades in his first year studying computer science. Wang could see that artificial intelligence and machine learning were transforming the world. First, we built machines that could do arithmetic, he says. But the idea that you could have them do these more nuanced tasks that required what we view as human-like understanding was this very exciting technological concept. But here's where the story gets interesting. Wang didn't drop out of MIT because he wasn't doing well. No, the guy had a perfect academic record. What pushed him to leave MIT was a side project born out of pure necessity. Imagine this. You're a college student, always swamped with work, and your fridge is constantly running low on essentials like milk. What do? Well, if you're Alexandr Wang, you build a camera that tells you when to restock your groceries.
My name's Alexandr Wang. I'm the CEO and founder of Scale AI. Scale AI is the data infrastructure for AI to power the most ambitious AI projects in the world. Every organization wants to implement AI, but oftentimes the biggest bottleneck in their way is being able to create really high quality data and data sets to power that AI. At Scale, we sort of view data as the core problem of building great AI, whereas a lot of other companies view it as an afterthought, and that really prevents AI from having sort of the magnitude of outcomes that it's able to have.
All right, get ready to dive deep today because we're shifting gears into overdrive with AI, specifically Scale AI.
Yeah.
Now, you might be thinking, AI again? Another one. But trust me on this.
Oh, this one's different.
Scale AI's in a league of its own. We're talking about a company valued at over $7 billion that was started by, get this, a 19-year-old college dropout.
It's mind-blowing, right? And it's not just about the founder's age that's got everyone talking. Scale AI is tackling a challenge that's at the very heart of AI. Data.
Yeah, you got to break that down for us. What's the connection?
Think of it like this. AI algorithms, they're like those high-powered race cars, all the potential in the world, but they need the right fuel to really perform. And that fuel, that's data. Scale AI, they're becoming the go-to pit crew for AI, making sure those algorithms have everything they need to win the race.
Data is fuel for AI. I like that. So how did a teenager, alongside his even younger co-founder, Lucy Guo, build this data empire?
Picture this. 2016, Alexandr Wang, a 19-year-old, decides to leave the hallowed halls of MIT, teams up with Lucy Guo, a 21-year-old Carnegie Mellon dropout. And she wasn't just any dropout, she was a Thiel Fellow. We're talking about a program with a 0.1% acceptance rate. It's like the Ivy League of innovation.
Wow, 0.1%. That's incredibly selective.
Right. So they start this company and they call it Scale API. Now, APIs, they might sound a little technical, but imagine them as the bridges that let different software applications talk to each other.
Oh, like a universal translator for software.
Exactly. Like when you book a flight online, APIs are working behind the scenes to make sure the booking website can talk to the airline system, handle your reservation, all that good stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. APIs are the connectors. But Scale AI didn't become a billion-dollar company just by building these software bridges. So what was their claim to fame? What was their big break?
They stumbled onto something massive while working with APIs, almost by accident. They realized that the real need wasn't just in connecting software, but in a very specific kind of data, labeled data for AI training. It's like, imagine trying to teach a self-driving car to navigate the world.
You mean showing it tons of pictures and saying, this is a stop sign, this is a pedestrian?
Exactly. You need to feed it millions of images and label each one: pedestrian, stop sign, tree, and the AI learns to recognize them. That's data annotation, and it's a massive, massive job.
And that's where Scale AI saw the opportunity and went for it.
Right on. They shifted gears from connecting software to becoming the data labelers themselves. And their timing couldn't have been better. This was right when the self-driving car scene was exploding. Companies like Toyota, Honda, Cruise, they were all thirsty for good data, and Scale AI was there to quench that thirst.
Wow, talk about being in the right place at the right time. But it wasn't just luck, was it? There had to be something special about how they approached this whole data thing.
Absolutely. See, from the get-go, Wang understood something that many missed. AI can process information incredibly fast, but it doesn't have that human touch, the ability to understand context, the nuances.
So they're saying humans are the key to teaching AI to, I don't know, see the world, like, more humanly.
Exactly. Wang recognized that relying solely on algorithms to label data, it could lead to errors, even biases. Humans, we can look at an image, understand those subtle cues that AI might miss entirely. Let me give you an example. Imagine a pedestrian partially hidden behind a parked car.
Okay, tricky situation for a self-driving car.
Right. An algorithm, it might just see car, but a human, we'd look at that and instantly understand the potential danger. We'd label that as hidden pedestrian.
That's a great example. It's like teaching AI to read between the lines, something that even the most sophisticated algorithms can struggle with. So they started with this kind of data for self-driving cars. What does Scale AI look like today? Like, what's their reach now?
Oh, they've expanded far beyond those early days. They still have that core data labeling and annotation platform. Get this, they have over 240,000 data labelers all over the world. That's more people than in some countries.
That's a lot of data labelers.
It's huge. But they've also gone way beyond just labeling. They've developed a whole suite of products to meet this growing need for AI solutions across tons of industries.
So it sounds like they've created an entire ecosystem around this whole AI data thing. What are some of the things they're offering now? Like, what's on the menu at Scale AI these days?
Well, their flagship, their bread and butter, is something called the Scale Data Engine.
Okay, the data engine.
Yeah. Picture this, it's like a one-stop shop for building AI. It helps companies do it all, from collecting the data, curating it, annotating it, to then using that data to train AI models, test them, evaluate them, the whole 9 yards.
So not just labeling images anymore, they're helping companies build their own custom-made AI solutions.
Exactly. And one example is this company, Neuro. They're a self-driving delivery startup. And they used Scale's data engine to tackle a really big challenge in the autonomous driving world, recognizing those unusual, out-of-the-ordinary scenarios.
Out of the ordinary. What does that look like in the self-driving world?
Think of those situations, those edge cases that are rare, but when they do happen, they're super important for safety. Like, imagine a pedestrian in a weird posture.
Okay.
Or unexpected objects on the road. These aren't things you see every day in the data, but when they pop up, the AI has to be ready.
It's not just recognizing the everyday things. It's about preparing for those curveballs that could make or break a self-driving system.
Precisely. And that's what Scale's data engine allowed Neuro to do, find those edge cases and teach their AI to respond the right way, ultimately making their self-driving delivery vehicles much safer.
That's amazing. It's really incredible to see how Scale AI is using this data, training AI to handle these really complex situations. But building a company like this, a data-centric company at this scale, it can't be a walk in the park, right? What are some of the hurdles they've had to overcome along the way?
Well, you got to think about those 240,000 data labelers. They're the backbone of Scale AI, right? Scaling up that workforce just to meet the demand for AI data.
Yeah.
It's no small feat.
Right, because without all those human eyes and brains making sense of the data, the AI wouldn't have anything to learn from. It's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
100%. In the beginning, Scale AI relied a lot on outsourcing agencies to handle this huge, and it is huge, data annotation workload.
Okay.
But as the company grew, those costs, the fees associated with these third-party agencies, they started eating into those profits.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's when remote tasks entered the picture.
Remote tasks, okay.
Yeah.
Is that like some AI-powered task management system, something like that?
Not exactly. Think of it more like Scale AI's in-house answer to this ever-growing need for data labelers. They basically set up a bunch of facilities in regions where labor costs were lower, the goal being to streamline the annotation process, keep those expenses in check.
Okay, so kind of like bringing those data labeling operations under their own roof, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense from a purely business point of view, but what about the people doing the work? What's the experience like for those data labelers working at these remote tasks facilities?
That's where things get, well, a bit more complicated. There have been some, allegations, criticisms of less than ideal working conditions and wages at some of these facilities.
Yeah, I've heard whispers about that.
It's something that's raised some eyebrows, and for good reason, right? It brings up those big questions about finding that balance between keeping things cost-effective, which is important for any business, but also making sure people are treated fairly, ethically in this AI gold rush.
It's a tough one, for sure. On one hand, you've got this incredible technology with the potential to change so much about our lives, but we can't forget about the people who are actually making that technology a reality.
Absolutely. And it's not just a Scale AI thing. This is something the entire AI industry is wrestling with as the hunger for labeled data just keeps growing.
The growing appetite
Right.
that needs to be fed.
Exactly.
So it's this bigger conversation we need to be having about ethics, about responsibility in this age of AI. And it'll be fascinating to see how Scale AI handles these questions, these challenges as they continue to grow. But even with those challenges, they're still attracting some pretty big names, right?
No, absolutely. Their client list reads like a who's who of the tech world. Microsoft, Meta, even the U.S. Army and the Air Force are using their technology.
Wow, the Army and the Air Force. Hold on. Even companies with resources like Microsoft are turning to Scale AI for their data needs.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Why not just keep everything in-house?
It might seem counterintuitive, but it actually highlights a really smart strategy a lot of these tech giants are using. Focus on what you're best at and outsource the specialized stuff to the experts. Data annotation, as crucial as it is for AI, it's a very specific field. You need that expertise, the infrastructure, and of course, that massive workforce we were talking about.
Right, yeah.
Not something everyone can just spin up overnight.
So it's about playing to your strengths. And Scale AI, they've become the data experts, allowing those other companies to focus on what they do best, developing those cutting-edge AI applications without getting bogged down in the weeds of data labeling.
Exactly. They've become the special ops of the AI world, if you will, doing that crucial groundwork, often behind the scenes, that allows the other companies to shine.
I like that, the special ops of AI. And speaking of specialized skills, Scale AI has also teamed up with a pretty big name in the AI world, OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, they're working together on fine-tuning, which takes AI customization to a whole other level.
Okay, fine-tuning. I've heard that term thrown around, but I'll admit I'm not entirely sure what it means in practice.
Okay, so imagine you've got this brilliant student, like ChatGPT, right? Aced all the general exams, has this vast knowledge base.
Okay, I'm with you.
But now you want them to specialize to become the world's leading expert on, say, writing marketing copy for tech startups.
Okay, so really niche down.
Exactly. That's where fine-tuning comes in. You give them all this specialized data, examples of amazing tech marketing copy, and they use that to refine their skills, becoming even better, more precise, more effective at that one specific thing.
So it's like taking an already super smart AI and putting it through this intense crash course in a specialized subject.
You got it. And that's exactly what Scale AI makes possible through this partnership with OpenAI. Businesses can now take these powerful pre-trained AI models like GPT 3.5,
Right.
using Scale's data engine, their data expertise, they can fine-tune it with their own data.
So instead of building an AI from the ground up, they're taking something that's already incredibly capable and making it even more laser-focused.
Precisely. It's like giving it that extra edge.
Can you give us a real-world example? How are companies using this fine-tuning thing?
Sure. There's this financial services company, Brex.
Okay.
They were drowning in expense reports. You know, that task we all love to hate.
Oh, tell me about it. Expense reports are the worst.
Right. So they used Scale's platform to fine-tune GPT 3.5, training it specifically on their expense data. The result, a 66% improvement in how fast they could generate expense memos.
66%. That's massive.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life, though? Like, what does that kind of improvement translate to?
It means serious time saved, money saved. Think about it, cutting down the hours spent on expense reports by 2/3. That's more time for employees to focus on the things that require, that human touch, the creativity, not to mention fewer errors, a much smoother, faster process overall.
66% improvement, that's wild.
Yeah.
It really shows you how powerful even those little tweaks to AI can be, especially when we're talking about, the business world where time is money, efficiency is everything. But I want to zoom out for a second.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about how scale AI is helping companies, solve these specific problems they're facing.
Yeah.
But when you talk to Alexandr Wang, when you hear him talk about the big picture, where does he see this all going?
That's what I find so interesting about him. It's not just about building a better AI model. It's bigger than that. Wang's got this vision where AI isn't just a tool for business. It's a force for good, for humanity.
That's refreshing to hear, honestly, because so much of what we hear about AI seems to focus on the risks, the potential downsides.
Right. The what ifs.
Exactly. So what is Wang saying? How does he see AI making a positive impact?
He's talked about AI tackling these huge challenges, things humanity's been wrestling with for, forever. Like, imagine AI helping us combat climate change.
Analyzing mountains of environmental data, helping us predict and maybe even mitigate the effects of a changing climate. Or AI revolutionizing healthcare.
Oh, wow.
Assisting doctors, making diagnoses faster, more accurate, accelerating the development of new treatments, life-saving stuff.
So it's not about AI replacing us. It's about AI helping us achieve what we could never do on our own, solving problems that seemed impossible before.
Exactly. And that really ties in with Scale AI's whole thing about the importance of the human element in AI. It's about doing this responsibly, ethically, making sure these powerful technologies are used to make life better, to create a better future, not to make things worse.
I like that, the idea of AI as a partner, not a replacement. That's something we need to be talking about more, for sure. But Wang's also realistic, right? He knows the world we live in. It's not all going to be smooth sailing, is it?
No, definitely not. He's been very vocal about the U.S. staying ahead in AI, especially with China, Russia. They're not standing still. He sees AI development as mission critical, not just for the economy, but for national security, too.
Which makes sense, because AI isn't some abstract thing anymore. It's got real-world implications for, everything, from defense to who's got the strongest economy.
Exactly. And Wang gets it. He understands how complex this all is. He's talked about the need for a global conversation on responsible AI development, urging countries to, work together to set ethical boundaries, safeguards to prevent things from going sideways.
It's a delicate dance, isn't it? Pushing the limits of what's possible, but also making sure those innovations are used for the right reasons. That's a conversation we all need to be a part of, not just the techies, but everyone.
Totally agree. It's been quite a ride exploring Scale AI, hasn't it? I mean, think about it. From automating refrigerators in those early days to this mission to shape the future of AI.
Right from the start.
Their story really highlights how quickly things are moving and the transformative power of AI.
From fridges to the front lines of AI, it's clear that data, that's the fuel driving this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And like any powerful resource, we got to be smart about it, ethical, with a clear vision for what we want the future to look like. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Scale AI, it leaves us with a lot to think about. What are your takeaways? What really stood out to you? Let us know. Because this isn't just about algorithms and data sets. This is about the future we're creating together.